Trading friends, how are you? Tom Willard Trading. Welcome to another video. It is June 26th, the week before 4th of July. I know I'm not going to be making any videos next week, so I wanted to get this in you. It's a hot time to be in the markets. Lots of opportunity. I like to tell everyone, the opportunities never cease. Okay, you may miss things and you can get down on yourself. Don't worry about it. Stick with it. There's always opportunity coming up, and you just got to be on top of your game, learning from your mistakes, have a system, have a plan. Like I mentioned, watch my series of videos, the technical analysis TA trading series, as well as the new one I just put in, the 4 videos I just put in. It'll give you the soup to nuts kind of basics on how to get your trading business going. This video, I'm going to actually dive into cryptos because cryptos have been kind of on the forefront stage with regards to been getting crushed actually as of late to the tune of 50% plus. So I'm going to talk about those, show you some of the charts because again, everything I do is based off of charts, primarily charts. With stocks, I will do some fundamental considerations, but the charts to me are the king because the charts they're the footprints of money, right? It's telling you where the volume is, where the buying, where the selling is, the trends. Here you can clearly see on the SPYs, we are in an uptrend. We've been in an uptrend for many years now, and we're continuing it. Is riding the rising moving averages. The daily chart, you can see we've kind of really from about the 19th of April, right, until the late June with that big 4-day down we had, we pretty much went nowhere, right, up and down underneath it. Now, as of this last week, we broke out to new highs on the SPY right here, red bar, trying to ignore it and go higher. Now, again, be careful because as you know, you can see that whenever it gets about this far from this 20-period moving average on the weekly chart, it tends to get rebuffed and pushed back. But as long as the trend keeps going higher, hey, long is the way to go. And I continue to have that thought process where still lean long, do not lean short. That doesn't mean great shorting opportunities aren't out there or will materialize here soon if things start to fall apart. But we have here, look here on the daily chart on the SPYs. This little blip here in mid-May, look how far it came down and how hard it came down. And then it made a higher low and went higher. Then here, look at the volume picked up, right? And then it picked up the most on the last day down here and here. And that gave it the fuel to go up and make a new high. But now, look, each new high, this new high got pushed back. This new high, right, got pushed back. This new high here got pushed back a little bit. Then this new high got pushed back as well. Well, guess what? We got another new high. Chances are we get another pushback, maybe 50, 60, 70% retracement of this move. Okay, and maybe not. Maybe this thing goes blistering higher. Had a lot of big volume transfer at the end of the day. So, again, generally long. I'm going to share mostly long ideas here with you, but just have your ideas on things that are double topping, things that are looking kind of weak and tired to get short. And obviously, you can short the major ETFs like the SPYs and the Qs, but I'm not doing it right here. Continuing to ride it higher. Qs. Daily chart here, you'll see as well, right? Pretty much a cup and a slight handle here breakout. Pretty meek volume though on this breakout. So cause for concern about the longevity of this move here, this brand new high it made here, how far it can go before it gets rebuffed. Okay, it's more been kind of a grind here to the higher. So it's been, error on the side of when you get a pronounced move lower, nibbling into those buys and then riding it back up to new highs. That's kind of been the MO for many months. And at some point, it's going to come to a point where that's not going to work anymore. Okay, so be prepared, have a plan. That's why you have to have stops. Trail stop when you get these new highs, take the profits, and then ride out the rest on a portion or buy it when it comes back in, but have a plan, have a stop. Don't just buy blindly and say, I'm not going to, I'm hodling, I'm not selling for any reason whatsoever, because that's when you'll give back all your gains and then some, which a lot of people in the Bitcoin, Dogecoin, crypto market have seen tons of profits evaporate because they didn't have any discipline or any plan around managing their trades when they're winners, okay? So let's get into some top ideas here off my scans. All right, so you'll see I just updated this here, this minder, and you'll see a swing watch. So I just scanned my universe of stocks, which is here. I've shown this to you in previous videos. It's shorted by the largest net percentage loss on Friday, all the way to the largest percentage gain on Friday. And I'll go through each one and look at the charts, and of course I'll bring up stuff that I was tracking the previous week week before, day. I'll scan midweek. I don't scan just on the weekends. This particular one I scanned today, just to kind of reassess where things are. I've been on vacation here and there for Father's Day, so I've been kind of in and out, and thought, okay, this is a good reset going into the 4th of July week next week. Actually, the holiday is actually the following week. Monday the 5th, I think, is the day that the markets close, but I think it might be a shortened session on Friday, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okay, rather than guess, I just actually pulled up my browser. The market is open Friday, July 2nd, and it is closed on Monday, July 5th. Typically, volumes are pretty light anyway, boxed around those weekends or those holidays like that. So just be aware. But these are my scans this is all my ideas. So you can actually freeze the video. You can see all of them listed here. These are the ones I'm watching for new long positions. Now, some of these I already own in swing long positions. And some of these are actually short ideas too that I'm just kind of watching. But again, these are sorted just like the other minder from top percentage gain on Friday to top percentage loser on Friday. That doesn't mean actually that's my top long idea. They're not sorted in order of what I like the best versus least. In fact, one of my top ones is plug, swing long. Why? Take a look at this. Okay, the weekly chart, we've had a pretty aggressive move up and a pretty deep pullback, right? You got a possible higher low forming here on the weekly chart. Now you got rolling moving averages curling over, okay? But I like the higher lows I'm seeing here off this green, massive green bar on this gap down, this engulfing green bar, which ignites this move to a new high, higher low. Now it's kind of a little bit, see this little miniature cup and handle forming? And I love, look at the volume at the end of the day here. And look at the 60-minute chart. We talked about it in my other videos, my 4 series of videos I just got coming up. You want to watch the 60s for long ideas. You got to pull back, you got to drain out, end of the day, volume pop. If this can hold and we go higher, now trading in the first half hour a day, things can get kind of squirrely, so I'd let it really establish itself. I like this as a swing long idea. You can preempt the official entry for me is over the $34.20-ish cents above these highs. That's really where the actual pattern triggers for me. But if you want to front run this thing, I see any aggressive move past the say 33, $1 before it hits there, off of this drainage move, and if the market's looking healthy and strong early in the week next week, I'm looking for this as a swing long, and it happens to be the lowest one on here. So that's what I want to point out to you is one of my favorite long ideas is this plug as a swing long, but it's showing up at the bottom of this list simply because I'm sorting it by top winner, top gainer to top loser on Friday. So you can look through these yourselves, but a couple I want to bring up. Yala, I like the aggressive move here. Same type of thing, right? A big move up, very much like plug, right? Lower low here, popping up off this lower low, trying to make a higher low here. You can see the higher low here on the daily chart, and an aggressive move, strong green bars on volume toward the end of the day, indicating this might get some Momo to the top side. Initial target's going to be the resistance area here to the left around 26. Your entry's right around these highs around 20, and your stop is using either the 60-minute chart. You can use 18, 20, 18, but keep in mind we're extended on the 60-minute chart. What I'd like to see maybe is Monday this thing to base. Let the moving averages catch up. Maybe the market has kind of a piddle day where it's just going to go sideways. This thing hangs out here at 20 for say 2-3 days. End of next week before the holiday, bam, it breaks out over 20. You got a tighter stop. You got better reward to risk. So that's what I'm looking for on Yala. So it's on the list. Keep an eye on it. Auto, I love this thing. Same type of concept, right? Long downtrend. I talked about this when I used to teach classes all the time, and I would fly around the country and do seminars at hotels. That you want to catch the trends. You're trading the trend, right? You want to trade long in the uptrends, short in the downtrends, and the most profitable times, right, are to catch those trends early. So if you can get in on a brand new uptrend that starts now. Nothing is confirmed for sure, right? I mean, anything can happen. So, but if you can catch those and you can ride those waves where you sell into the strength and when they pull back, you buy on the pullbacks and you're riding those 3, 4, 5 pivot moves that these things make a lot of times off the lows, instead of waiting for the entire cup and handle to form, which I love cup and handles, don't get me wrong, but you're missing out a lot of the profit opportunity on the right side of the cup, right? That right side of the cup, there's up move there. Why wait for that? If you can read the trends, anticipate it, and you have a plan so that you're pulling the ripcord and getting the hell out of Dodge if things go south. Auto here looks like it's starting this uptrend. Love the green bar here, love the flag, love the break on volume here, pull back meekly on low volume. It tried to break out here higher on Friday and it got pushed back, topping tail, okay. but rising moving average, kissing on that. All the signs here point to a really nice long idea. Target, or I'm sorry, entries right around above these tails here, around 730, 740, right? And your stop is underneath the lows, around 670. So you got a pretty tight stop. Realize on a tight stop, you're just doing plenty of volume, so you won't, if you're in and out, say you do 1,000 shares or even 10,000 shares, no one's going to care. You're going to be able to get in and out pretty easily, seamlessly on this thing. I like this as a long. Watch AUDL. Bionanogenomics. This one's another one. Very much like Plug, right? Had an astronomical move, came down, made a higher low, then a lower low, kind of like the double tap I've talked about many times. Final tap out here on this volume, big green bar volume on day, signaling a reversal. Aggressive traders could have got in here on this first flag. Okay, beautiful. Ride it up. What's it doing now? Flagging right back into the rising moving average. You kidding me? Beautiful, right? Flag here on the 60, moving average curling up. You could buy the high of the flag around 770, stop at 730 conservative, underneath the 7 mark, under this tail here, if you want to give it some room. Maybe 655, 660, somewhere in there. This thing looks higher. Watch this one. Royal Caribbean. Here's another one. It's below us 200. Of course, this one got hammered with a bunch of the COVID stuff, right? The travel and leisure, Royal Caribbean cruises. It looks like it wants to go higher to me. You got a giant uptrend, or I'm sorry, not a giant uptrend, of a trend of higher highs, higher lows, although sloppy and messy with lots of tails. But it looks like it wants to bust past this 200 period flat, and if it does, it could get really powerful. It can break past this with some force. So watch this as a possible long. Genesis, this one I've talked about. If you go back in my videos over the last several months, even maybe over a year, I'm talking about this one here and there. Been in and out of this thing. A lot of interesting volume here coming in now. All of a sudden, off this lower low, right? You've actually got a curling moving average here where it signals to get short. Fundamentally, this stock I think has got a lot of upside. In kind of a pretty cool space that I think they have a dominant share in. And I like what I'm seeing here on the chart. It's constructive. You got this low here that really flushed out people. You see the volume didn't even pick up. Well, you can't see it because this volume was so asymmetrical to all this from this last Friday. But nonetheless here, watch this one. I think this may have some upside potential. Clean entry on this, probably around the $6 area, maybe above this topping tail. Stop is about $1 away, so that's a pretty percentage-wise, a pretty big. Say this is round it, in at 6, out at 5. It's a pretty significant percentage stop. As I mentioned about this thing, this is thinner. It did do 4.3 on Friday. I think that was aftermarket though. A lot of it typically does around 150, 200,000 shares a day. So I wouldn't back up it's a cheap stock too. Don't back up the truck on this, guys. You're gonna get if you get caught in this thing with too many shares, you won't be able to unload them. So again, I think this looks higher. I own this one actually, and I think it's going to go higher. But exercise caution with regards to your shares. Buy what you can and don't go crazy because it is a cheap stock. Okay, but I think this thing is going to go back up and test these highs at 8 over the next several months. It looks like it's trying to bottom out here, and I like what I'm seeing volume-wise, price action-wise, with that drain out around $5 a share. Beyond Meat. Let's look at a couple more. Look at this flag setting up here. Beautiful. Rising moving average just above the 200 period. Makes sense. It broke through the 200 period, having some trouble there. It's digesting its gains off this move, off this low. Look at this. New high, new low. Tornadic formation. I've talked about that before. Okay. Mid-range consolidation. A breakout above here could prove a nice move back to 190, 200. That would be my target. Watch it for a break. Best entry is going to be above this high of this tail, about 155, 156, all right, 156, and then your stop's around 140. So you're looking at a $16 stop. Pretty solid size stop, at least as of right now. It hasn't broken out yet, and it may make a lower low before it actually breaks out. So just keep it on radar. This is one of the ones I'm watching. FireEye's another one. Had this report where it got smashed, took out the lows, really drained out anyone here that didn't want to hold it anymore, and it's popped right back up. Now it's making a higher low. I like what I'm seeing here. It's not quite up to these highs yet. Safer entries to get back up to 23 base, then set up. But front runners, which I'll tend to do sometimes, but I'll get in and out. Buy at 21, stop at 20. See if it works. Okay, watch the FireEye. All right, I'm not going to touch on all these, but the gold shakeouts have happened, right? The stronger gold, Franco-Nevada here is showing more strength too. Let's take a look at, for example, let's just look at the GDX. Look at how it got crushed. Look at Newmont. Okay. Look at IAU. Look at GLD. Now look at FNV. Look at WPM. Not quite as strong, but FNV is really strong. These two are my favorites, WPM and FNV. I don't own either one. I'm watching these for a recovery in gold. Watch them. They look like they are. This one really is holding up really well. Okay. Obviously, it's got area to fall below here if it goes. So if the gold makes one more leg down, this one, I think if you can get a nice setup here in the 140 to 145 range, watch it. Or break above this 150 high here with some force using the stop of whatever this low is here. Ends up being when that happens, if that happens. Okay. Tilray. Tilray here, pulling back. Obviously, we know this one ripped, came down. It made a higher high, now a higher low. Technically, the entry already happened here. I do not own this one right now. I did own it in the past, took profits on it, and I'm flat looking to get back in. 60-minute chart, look at this here. Beautiful, right to the rising moving average after the crossover. Looking to get in here in the 1820 to 1850 range. Stop right maybe 1740, 1730, right in this area here to lock it in under here. Or if you want to give it more room, the pivot here is more of a solid support area, right? So you can use your stop under 16 as for Tilray if you get in on this thing, okay? Let's look at a few more. Nikola. You know, this one is also looking like it wants to go higher. I don't know if it's all this talk of the renewable energy or what, but it's really come off this low pretty nicely. Couple of 1, 2, 3, 4 higher highs. 1, 2, 3 higher lows. Then it took out the low, made a higher low here. So you got a really spotty looking inverse head and shoulders, and you got a little bit of base here. What is this? It looks like a little cup and handle, right? Off the moving average is rising here, the 200 declining. You got the big volume at the end of the day. Popped up in volume here. I think any sort of slingshot here above could be bought with your stop, tight stop right under this low, or this candle here. So watch Nikola. Nikola. I have no idea what to pronounce it. Doesn't matter. Just try to make some money off of it. GRWG. It's another one. I think this is a pot stock as well. Grwg Generation. It's making higher highs. Higher high, higher higher, higher low, higher low, higher high here. Just got rebuffed. Watch it for a pullback to this rising moving average. You got the weekly chart here. It's kind of consolidating. If it can get a head of steam going above this 50.48 here off this tail, I think you can run back up to these highs here. So watching Grwg Generation. And these are all the other ones I'm watching. Riot too. Considering what's happened to Bitcoin, now I'm going to use this as a segue to go into Bitcoin. But Riot here holding up better on the daily chart than Bitcoin is. And it's got crushed, obviously, but I like what I'm seeing here. Higher highs, higher lows. The last Bitcoin downtrend, it took out the low at 30,000, the previous low, most recent low. Let me put it that way. Can't speak here. And this one made a higher low. Watch it. 35 entry, 32 stop if you want to keep it tight, or you want to give it room. You got a pivot here down here around $29, $28 a share. But Riot here is on my list to be watched as a long. All right, last but not least, let's talk about some of the cryptos here. Bitcoin. I've got the daily chart here, D, of Bitcoin. And you'll see the meteoric rise here, beautiful, with pullbacks, and then topped out, and then it's come down here pretty precipitously. And it took this low here down to, what about 40, what was this low here? 30,104, and then you can see it just took it out right here, went to 28,863. So what's the game plan on this? Well, what have you got here? You really got a giant four-headed monster head and shoulders, right? Here's your mountaintop, four heads, shoulder, shoulder. Any break below here, I'd say about 28, maybe 27,000 with any sort of force. I can see it easily going out to 20, where this next support area is. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, if it can hold this area, so it makes it a kind of a low-risk trade, right? If you can get in here in the high 20s, and you risk maybe $2,000 a Bitcoin. So say you get it, say just throwing out arbitrary numbers. So you get it at 29 if it comes down there, and put your stop at 27, 26.5, whatever. That gives you enough space, okay, to take a shot at trying to buy the low and hoping this support area holds. Is it going to hold? I don't know. Time will tell. But I'm now starting to nibble in here in this high 20s area. I'm not going to pay 33 for it. I'm not going to pay 35 for it. I'm going to pay 30-ish for it, okay? And I'm going to pull the ripcord on it if it drops anywhere with any sort of force below about 27, 26, okay? And then I think if it goes down to 20, then I'll revisit. But right now, it's holding this area. I think that's the smart play. Now, where am I taking profits? Well, I'll probably skim half of that off about a $10,000 move to around the 40 area, 40, 40, 40, 39, 40, 41 area. This thing topped out at what, 40? Let me just draw it out here so we can see a little bit better. 41.3 was the high, okay? So that's kind of your line in the sand as to where your first profit potential is. I think it can go, if it can break past here. So what I'd like to see happen is it break back up to break this high, base out maybe, pull back, make a higher low, and then push past 44, 45. And I think the next stop then is 50, round numbers, right? 50,000, you got this minor resistance here from this low here. You've got a cluster of 3 bars here on the daily chart here. There's your next resistance point. And guess what? The next one is what? 60 right here, and then 65. So you've got it's really kind of nice. It's right at the round numbers. It's 40, and then it's 50, and then it's 60, and then it's 65. Those are your resistance points. Those are my target areas. And obviously, if you get setups along the way where you hit something, you pull back, and you can get a setup to buy in and ride it back up, sell some here, ride the rest. Okay, sell them when it gets stupid extended, buy it when it pulls back. Okay, so there's Bitcoin. Cardano is another one I'm a big fan of. Let's take a look at that one real quick. Here's the daily chart on Cardano. So you'll see it's not quite as pronounced. It didn't have the move that Bitcoin did. Much smaller numbers, dollar. Here's 220, 250 is where it topped out here. It also had the cataclysmic fall apart. Held the support area here. Tried, held it. Tried, held it. So same thing. If it breaks below this about 95-cent area, I think she can go lower. But until that happens, you've got something to plant off of, is the way I put it, where you've got a hard stop where you can do this. Now, again, the volumes on these, especially on the weekends, can be pretty stark. So if you're a big swinger and you're dropping, you're buying 3-4 Bitcoin at a pop, and you want to, put your stops in and over the weekend, there's a good chance that you won't get filled, or you're going to get, unless you've got like a market order, you're going to get filled hundreds of dollars below where you want to get out. So keep that in mind. In fact, let's go to Bitcoin. You can see the transactions here, I think, in the corner. Yeah, look. Here, 418, 0.0005 Bitcoin was traded. 0.0142 was hit on the offer, right? Sorry, hit on the bid, and then here this one was sold to the offer. 0.0005 Bitcoin, 0.03. So not even 0.1 Bitcoin anywhere here. No one is even trading over No one's trading over 0.05 Bitcoin here in the last 2 minutes. Let's see. There's 0.02, 0.044 from 415. So you see the volumes are pretty thin. So keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Just something to think about. Okay. Cardano, same thing. So, again, you can nibble here in the low ones, 105, 110. Pull the ripcord about 95, 90 cents. Look for a move back up to 180. I think this is going to be a leader in the crypto space in the future. It may not be, so that's why we have stops. Okay. Dogcoin, let's talk about Dogecoin. Dogcoin, Dogecoin, whatever you want to call it, however you want to pronounce it, doesn't matter. Pretty clean chart though, right? Pretty clean. Moved up, down, down, and it took out the lows here. So now if this low can hold, this is the whole low here. Where is it? 16 cents, 16.3 cents. This low here was 15.5 cents. So let's just round it to 16-cent area. That's your hard stop area, I think. You got something to plan off of. Look to lose. And now, again, I wouldn't buy it and just put my head in the sand like an ostrich and say, I'm demanding 70. You may get it, but you've got to have a plan. Sell into the strength. Your resistance points here, 30, you're going to have some trouble. You're going to have some trouble probably at 40, 45, right? Some more trouble here. This cluster around 55, 60. Okay, then 65, 70. Okay? Good problem to have if it gets back up there and you own Dogecoin, right? But that's my thought process on the Doge. Ethereum's another popular one. Let's look at that one real quick. Same thing. This one's looking a little bit weaker. Now, remember, this one, to me, was stronger than Bitcoin. It held up better. But some of the relative strength things are falling apart. It's not proving out to be a worthy attribute is the way I want to put it with regards to cryptos. Something could be relatively strong for a month, and then all of a sudden it's dog, you know what, the next month. Showing relative strength. Cardano was one of those. It was showing relative strength, and now it's showing weakness. And Bitcoin actually was showing relative weakness. I think in the last video I talked about, when I talked about cryptos, I was saying, look, Bitcoin to me is dead. It looks worse than pretty much all the other ones. Now Bitcoin's actually looking better to me. So keep that in mind. Ethereum here, same type of thing. What's the floor here? 1700 flat, 1733. Okay, so I'd say, give it some room. Maybe 1690, 1680. You want to be really ready to pull the ripcord on this thing. But again, if you could be trying to buy this, let me back this up a little bit here so you can see more of the candles. You've got support in this area here, right? Between 1400 and 2000, you got support in this area. I think if it falls through here, and you got support levels here at 13, because it didn't move up meteorically early, right? It kind of chopped around, creating these demand points, these support areas that after this moved down, a lot of this gets negated. The smart money in here, me being one of them, sold when our technical selling signals came up and took profits. Some people didn't. Okay, so with regards to new trades, I think you can nibble in here. There's no setup though. I would prefer, for me, a rebuff, hold this area, return back up, and you could buy it on a daily chart over these highs at around $2,050 per coin, and your stop's gonna be about 16. And then you're looking, really, you got 2800 is your first real resistance point here. So let's say an $800 profit and you're risking $400. That's 2-to-1 reward risk. Not great. Not great. I'd like to get a tighter entry on that. Okay, so maybe nibble. So that's Ethereum and my breakdown of Ethereum. Okay. All right, guys. With that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit me up with any questions. Post them on the video here. Tom@TomWillerTrading.com. Until next time, trade well. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday to our amazing, beautiful country. And hope you guys have a great trading week. Follow your plans, and you'll stay out of trouble.